Today I've got not one but two earbuds to show you. One is the Earfun Air Pro 4 Plus and the other is the SoundPEATS Air5 Pro. And the reason why I test them together is that these two share a lot in common, both in terms of their features and their overall performance. Hi, my name is Andy and you're watching Andy's Tech Tone. Thanks for tuning in. At some point, I wanted to test each of these earbuds, so I asked their respective manufacturers to send me a test sample, and they did, but that doesn't mean that I'm getting paid for doing this video, and all you will hear is my honest and unfiltered opinion. And I only realized how similarly spec'd these two actually were only after receiving them, so I decided to test them together in one video. There is only a few differences to be found, which we will talk about in a minute, but first let's see what the two earbuds have in common. Well, for starters, there is the fact that they boast the same wireless chip, namely the Qualcomm QCC3091. This advanced SoC has a lot to offer, and here is a quick list of its features. Snapdragon sound, dual device connection, support for the LDAC, the aptX adaptive and the aptX lossless audio codecs, low latency, single mode, and there is also LE audio on the menu, along with the energy efficient LC3 codec. Earfun supposedly use a newer firmware, which makes their chip Bluetooth version 6.0 compliant, while SoundPEATS is still using a slightly older 5.4 version, but that's probably something you would never realize during everyday use. Overall, the two sets deliver the same wireless performance across the board, especially on iOS, but there is one little thing that might be of interest to avid Android users. Looking at the packaging, you may notice that only Earfun paid the licensing fee for Google Fast Pair, so maybe that's something that can tip the scales in favor of the Air Pro 4 Plus. And speaking of scales, the two earbuds weigh in roughly the same, with the Air5 Pro having a tiny 0.17 gram advantage. And as for their overall look and design, again, the two earbuds are fairly similar. We get average-sized stems, a dual-tone colorway, and a glossy coating with both. The difference here is that while Earfun only offer their earbuds in black, you can get the SoundPEATS in either black or white. The quality of plastics they use feels the same, and at first look, the size of their speaker units are also very similar to one another. On closer inspection, I found that the two are a bit differently shaped, and it seems like that the Air5 Pro suits my ear anatomy better. That, paired with the somewhat softer silicone tips on the SoundPEATS buds, provide me with a more comfortable wear in the long run. Both use oval-shaped ear tips. There is 5 sets we get from Earfun, but only 3 sets come with the Air5 Pro. As I just said, the tips on the Air Pro 4 Plus feel firmer, and I had to go one size down to make it more comfy. But overall, the fit is secure and tight enough on both, and since we get the same sweat and waterproof rating from both brands, you can use them equally well for your workouts or running. Sure, the Air Pro 4 Plus buds are actually rated as IP55 dust and waterproof, which on paper at least is better than the IPX5 rating of the Air5 Pro, but unless you drop your earbuds a lot in the mud, their longevity is supposed to be more or less the same. And the similarities continue with the battery cases. As far as their shape, each can be easily identified, as SoundPEATS have been using pebble-shaped cases forever, while Earfun have always had this more rectangular approach. But they are similarly sized, and they share the same lid design, which opens up in a way that gives you easy access to the buds. The hinge is solid on both, no flapping there, and we get a battery status LED on the front, along with a USB Type-C port and a pairing button at the bottom of both cases. And staying on course with the similarities between the two, let's talk about the controls next. Both earbuds come with a touch-sensitive panel built into the top of their stems. And we can fully remap the functionality of the single, double, triple and long press actions in both the PEATS Audio and in the Earfun smartphone apps. We can disable the touch controls altogether or disable the individual tapping actions on each. In my experience, the Earfun buds register taps a fraction faster, but as far as their accuracy and reliability, the two prove to be the same in day-to-day use. The one and only difference here is that while the Air Pro 4 Plus comes with smart sensors for automatic play and pause, the Air5 Pro does not. And moving on to the smartphone apps, the basic settings and options are very similar, but I don't think that anybody is surprised to hear that at this point. multiple sound profile presets, a 10-band manual EQ, custom controls, voice prompt settings, Find My Buds, a game mode switch, an LDAC switch, an LE audio switch, software updates, and the different ambient modes are all on offer in both apps. However, we can find some minor differences as well. For example, SoundPEATS gives us a map-based Find My Buds solution on top of the pinging option, but with the Air Pro 4 Plus, it's taken care of by Google Find Device on Android. Another one is that with the hearing health feature, we can limit our exposure to high volumes using the Earfun app, while SoundPEATS gives us a fit test to check the ceiling of the tips we use. However, the one major difference I would like to highlight is that Earfun have a dual device connection menu where all of our previously connected devices are listed and we can manually switch between them all, which can improve productivity in a multi-device environment. SoundPEATS only have a simple dual device connection switch in their app, with no connection history or manual switching between the available sources. And on a personal note, I also prefer the much cleaner UI of the Earfun app. Next up is the ANC. On paper, both earbuds offer us adaptive noise cancellation with multiple ambient modes and settings. But putting them to use revealed some differences in real-life performance. For example, the noise cancelling is more effective on the Air5 Pro regardless of the mode you use. Whether it's set to adaptive, traffic or outdoor, the SoundPEATS buds block out more noise across the whole frequency range. I tried the earphones with different sized tips because of the comfort issues I mentioned before, but no matter which tips I was using, I always ended up having a bit more noise getting through, both lower pitch and higher frequency noises. In transparency mode, we get two settings on each bud. The default or standard sound a bit intense on both, but the earphone buds have a lower level of white noise, and as such I find it a touch more comfortable, and it also deals better with wind noise when outside. In its natural mode, the white noise on the Air Pro 4 Plus is even less noticeable, but the sound gets a bit muffled with muted mids and treble. On the SoundPEATS buds, the voice enhancement mode sounds even less natural with thin mids and bright highs, but no bass whatsoever. Wind noise is handled better by the Air Pro 4 Plus in both transparency and adaptive ANC mode, but the earbuds come with a specific mode called wind noise cancelling in the Earfun app and outdoor noise cancellation in the PEATS Audio app. And when compared those two, I found it better performing on the Air5 Pro. Overall, I would say it's a toss-up between the two, as while the ANC itself works better on the SoundPEATS, I prefer the hear-through mode on the Earfun. The ANC of the Air5 Pro has one big disadvantage though, but before I tell you what that is, let's see some numbers and talk about the battery life next. So according to the official specs, the Air Pro 4 Plus can last up to 8 hours with the ANC on and up to 12 hours with the ANC turned off. In total, with the case we can get up to 36 or 54 hours respectively. With the SoundPEATS buds, we can get up to 7.5 hours of use on a single charge and up to 37 hours in total with the case. And while the manufacturer here does not specify whether it's with the noise cancelling turned on or off, we can assume it's with the ANC on, as the numbers are very similar between the two. It's 8 hours versus 7.5. Both battery cases offer a 10-minute quick charge for an extra couple of hours of use, but only the Earfun case is compatible with wireless charging. And speaking of hardware differences, we can find a major one when we look at how each creates sound. Both use a 10mm dynamic driver, but while it covers the whole frequency range from the bottom end all the way to the top in the SoundPEATS buds, Earfun added an extra balanced armature driver for the treble. And as such, when doing my usual A/B testing, I was expecting more of a difference in terms of their sound characteristics. But I have to confess that I found it hard to distinguish the two. I've got the same amount of detail in the highs, a similarly hefty but well-controlled bass, and nicely articulated vocals. Both earbuds sounded pretty much the way I like earbuds to sound, with a commanding but not overpowering presence in the lower octaves, rich and warm vocals which are fairly open and forward, and a treble that is detailed and energetic but also smooth without any excessive sibilance. That said, overall the Air Pro 4 Plus sounded a touch more organic, with a slightly more airy sound and a hair more of a separation between the components of music. Maybe that extra top-end extension or detail is there too, but again I couldn't hear much of it at all. Now, that's the case in normal mode with the noise cancelling turned off. And the minute we turn the ANC on, the sound of both earbuds will change. The shift is more dramatic on the Air5 Pro, but it's also noticeable on the earphones. In both instances, the bass and especially the mid and upper bass get lifted, which makes the bottom end more dominant. On the SoundPEATS, it brings loads of extra low-frequency energy and quite a prominent bloat with it, which has an adverse effect on vocals and speech intelligibility, as it muddies up the lower mids. The boosted bass is also present in the sound of the Air Pro 4 Plus with the ANC on, but the shift in the sonic character is not nearly as bad, as the lifted bass will not bleed into the mids that much at all. Of course, to a certain extent, you can always compensate for these jumps in the sound using EQ, and both earbuds offer you the same 10-band manual setting, where you can create and save multiple custom profiles for yourself. But then again, switching between the different ANC modes would require you to switch to a different EQ profile every time, so at the end of the day, I would say that Earfun wins the sound quality test thanks to their slightly more consistent sonic character across all the ambient modes. So while the ANC itself is indeed better on the Air5 Pro, that change in the sound is something I don't like. But then again, I know of some people who are not familiar with the concept of too much bass, so they might even like what they hear. I personally hope that SoundPEATS can fix this bloated bass thing with a new firmware down the road, but they may leave it entirely to the new Air5 Pro Plus, which will come with a two-way speaker setup including a new MEMS driver. I just found out about these new, supposedly more expensive buds right before filming this review, but I hope to test them sometime soon to see if there is indeed an improvement in their sound. And before I conclude this video, let me give you a few audio samples so you can decide which earbuds sound better when it comes to making phone calls. So first, this is the Earfun Air Pro 4 Plus. And what you can hear now is the sound coming from the built-in microphones on the SoundPEATS Air5 Pro in a quiet room. Now let's see what the earbuds can do outside with some traffic noise in the background and also a slight breeze thrown into the mix. This is the Earfun Air Pro 4 Plus. And this is how the mics on the SoundPEATS Air5 Pro can handle the same conditions, such as some traffic noise in the background and also some wind. So let me know what you think about the mic quality of each of the earbuds in the comments down below. In conclusion, I will say this. The only hardware differences I found were the wireless charging, the smart sensors, and the extra BA drivers on board the Earfun Air Pro 4 Plus. Everything else is more or less the same, including their design, their build quality, their wireless features, their touch controls, and their battery life. As for their prices, the SoundPEATS buds come in at around $80, and while you can get the Air Pro 4 Plus for about the same money, its RRP is more like $100. I will have some links in the description for you with actual prices and availability. If you manage to find the two earbuds for the same price, I would probably go with the Earfuns, but if you can get an even better deal on the Air5 Pro, then there is no doubt that you will get a tremendous value for your money as well. In case the Air Pro 4 Plus costs significantly more where you live, which is a possible scenario too, then you have to figure it out yourself whether some of the differences we discussed are worth paying that premium or not. And that's it for the day. If you liked the video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. As always, all your comments are welcome should you have anything to add or ask. Thanks for watching everyone, hope to see you all in the next one.